Hey everyone, welcome back. Next lesson is on figurative language. I'm so excited I got to see all of your faces this morning, and we are going to move on. Again, sorry this was kind of blurry. I'm still figuring out what's going on with Zoom, and sometimes it really zooms in. So that's what's happening right now, and it's being a little bit blurry. But I wanted to start the lesson on figurative language. We've talked about this before, and we're going to review some of the figurative language samples that we've done, and then we're going to learn a couple new ones. So here we go. Alrighty. So again, I like to start all of our little lessons off with a little quote. So spring, it's a lovely reminder of how beautiful change can truly be. So I don't know about you, but looking outside, I see a lot of things blooming, a lot of things changing. The grass is now green and it was brown before, and there's flowers popping up. I see tulips, I see daffodils, I see leaves coming back on the trees. I see, looking out the window right now, I see lots of full blooms. So spring is a great time to look about how change can actually be a beautiful thing. And in the midst of what we're doing right now, a big change from going to the classroom to now being here, this is also a beautiful thing too. Although sometimes it doesn't feel like it, we need to think about how nice this actually is. We get to spend a little bit more time with our families and maybe just take a break from our kind of crazy, busy lives. All right, so we're jumping right into figurative language this week. Can you think about that one? What was that? Raining cats and dogs. All right. So what is figurative language? We know language is kind of what we speak, what we read. Figurative is not really saying what it means. So figurative language is language that uses words or expressions that are different than the literal meanings. If I said to you, go wash your hands, you would literally go wash your hands. But if I said to you, oh my gosh, it's raining cats and dogs, are cats and dogs actually coming down from the clouds? No. So a literal meaning is actually what it's doing and saying. A figurative meaning means there has to be a meaning that we imply. So figurative language helps the reader get a clearer picture of what is actually happening in the story. It can be used to simply entertain us, the readers, or it spices up your reading and your writing. So if you're trying to work on some different styles of writing, try putting an example of figurative language in your writing prompts this week. There you go, spice up your life. Okay, let's spice up some sentences by using figurative language. John is really tall. Now, he could be really tall, but we want to spice that up and put a different form of figurative language in there. So we can say, add our little salt shaker, spice it up. John is as tall as a giraffe. Now, you know a giraffe is very tall. I know a giraffe is really tall. So instead of just saying, oh, John's really tall, we can say John is as tall as a giraffe. That's definitely a lot spicier than just John is tall. So there he is. Now, again, is John literally as tall as a giraffe? Probably not, but he's super tall. I think I told you before that my uncle was actually 6'9". So that is a pretty tall, but he's still not as tall as a giraffe. So John is he really as tall as a giraffe? No, he's not. But it helps us understand and get a clearer picture that John is not a short little guy. All right, here we go. Let's try another one. My sister has been talking on the phone for a long time. Now, if you have an older sibling in the middle school or high school, this may be for you. All right, salt shaker, and let's spice it up. My sister has been talking on the phone for a year. Now, do you really think your sister has been talking on the phone for 365 days? No, but we know that 365 days is a year, and that is a really long time. So it kind of gives our writing a little bit different of a preview. Okay? So really, has she been going and talking on the phone for a full calendar year? No, but it helps us understand and spice up our writing. All right, so now we're going to get into the different types of figurative language. I want you to pause the video right now and try and think of some of the different types of figurative language. This was that big thick packet that I actually sent home with you guys. We started doing a couple. So pause the video, try and brainstorm a couple of the different types of figurative language. Okay, hey guys, welcome back. So maybe you came across or came up with some of these ideas. This is, we know we've talked about similes and metaphors and personification and idioms and alliteration and hyperboles and onomatopoeia. Okay, those are lots of the different ones we actually talked about in class. We're gonna first start with a simile. A simile compares two things using the words like or as. If a figurative language question is if you're looking at a figurative language question and it wants to know if it's a simile or a metaphor, your first thing is to look for these words like or as. If it doesn't have like or as in it, it can't be a simile. The clouds floated through the sky like puffy marshmallows. Do you see the word like in there? Sure you do. Now, it's comparing two things. What's it comparing? It's comparing the clouds to puffy marshmallows. Very good. Here we go. Coming in. Now, here is the metaphor. A metaphor compares two things without using the word like or as. So we just change it and say the clouds are puffy marshmallows. You don't see the words like or as in there. Is it still comparing two things? Sure it is. It's comparing the clouds to the puffy marshmallows, but they're not saying they are like them. They are saying they are them. Here is an idiom. An idiom is a saying that has different meaning from its literal meaning. Who let the cat out of the bag? Okay, I don't know about you, but I don't really store my cat or dog inside of a bag and then say, okay, go head out, buddy. Right? So when you let the cat out of the bag, what do you think that might mean? We know that letting something out of something kind of is releasing it. So actually this idiom is who spilled the beans? Actually, spilled the beans is another idiom, okay? If you say you spilled the beans, that means you told a secret that shouldn't be told. Who let the cat out of the bag? You shared a secret, maybe it was a surprise birthday party, and you shared it by accidentally saying it. So you let the cat out of the bag. Right, so I'm not carrying my little kitten around with me in my purse. Yep, so there we go. Who told the secret? Okay, personification. We see that word person in there. So this is a clue for us about what personification is. So person, keep that in mind for personification. So this is when an idea, animal, or object is given human characteristics. So we give them something a person can do. Think in your brain, what is something you can do that maybe your cat or the sun can't do? The gentle breeze kissed the children's cheek. Okay, so you can actually give a kiss to a little baby's cheek. The gentle breeze can't come over and give you a kiss on the cheek, but it can kind of flush our skin, so it can kind of do a kiss on the cheek. Now, alliteration is probably my favorite type of figurative language. That is the repetition of sounds that have the same beginning sound. So think of a sound, so maybe B, 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 B. All of your words have to start with B, B, B. In this example, they're using an A. The alligator ate an apple. Alligator, ate, and, apple. You hear the same sound at the beginning. It's not always the letter because we know that letters sometimes make different sounds. So it's the repetition of sounds and not letters. Now again, this one is all short A. So you do see they all begin with an A. Now, hyperbole is our extreme exaggeration to get it across. If you're starving, you could eat a cow. That means you're super duper duper hungry. My brother has a million toys. Now, I'm sure a lot of you guys have a lot of toys, but do you really think you have a million? Probably not. But it's just showing that you have so many different toys there. Okay, an onomatopoeia is our sound words. Sound words. Bang, splats, boing. Okay, now let's look at some comics that relates to figurative language, and we'll try and practice these. Wow, it's raining cats and dogs out there. So this comic has an example of figurative language. Can you tell me which one it is? If you said idiom, you are right, okay? So this one is, wow, it's raining cats and dogs. Again, cats and dogs are not coming out from the sky. And this one, the response is, goody, I was hoping to get a new puppy. Well, sorry, buddy, you're wrong. It's just really, really raining, okay? Here are some other ones. This one in frame 1, the mom is saying to him, do you think I'm made out of money? So what do you think that means? I'm sure maybe your parents may have said that to you when you're constantly saying, I want a new toy, I want this, I want that, I want that. And then they say, do you think I'm made out of money? Or money doesn't grow on trees, okay? These are also examples of idioms. That means mom doesn't have all of the money that you think, and money doesn't really grow on trees, so we can't go outside and pluck some off. In frame 2, it's saying, the children have been getting in my hair all day. Now look at this picture right here. This little guy's thinking, is there kids hanging out of mom's hair? No, she says, you're getting in my hair. You're annoying me. You're getting on my nerves, right? Okay. Here is some simile examples. This pizza is as cold as ice. I don't know about you, but I am not a cold pizza type of girl. I like to heat my pizza up in the microwave, in the toaster oven, in the big oven. I do not like cold pizza. I know some people can open the fridge, grab a slice of pizza and eat it right in their mouth, and I just cannot try that. That just doesn't taste good for me. Okay, so we're looking at similes. We know a simile has the words like or as. So the first thing you have to do, does this have the word like or as? Yes, it does. Now, what's it comparing? Is it comparing two things? Pizza to cold ice. Yep, so that is a simile. Here are a few other samples. This one is of alliteration, okay? Now, remember, alliteration is the repetition of sounds. There must be a clue to Pookie's disappearance here somewhere. Ah, could this be a telltale towel? I'm sorry, could this be a telltale trail of teddy bear hair? Even if it isn't, that was a pretty nifty bit of alliteration. So again, we see tell, tale, trail of teddy bear. Can you use another example of alliteration that would make sense in this comic? What is maybe another sample of alliteration you can use in this comic? Let me see if I can think of one on the top of my head. Let's see. Garfield has gone goofy going to the garage. Okay, so you see the G sound, the g sound being repeated in that sample. Okay, here's another one. Our car's engine can imitate kitty cat. Daddy said it's purring like a kitten. Okay, so again, do you see like or as? Think about that. When we see like or as and it's comparing two things, it's comparing the car to the kitty cat. What type of figurative language would that be? That would be the simile. Good. Okay, here's another one. Stop bugging me. Now, what do you think this means? This is probably one we use all the time, and you're probably using it a lot more now that you're home with all of your sisters and brothers and parents and cats and dogs. You could just say, stop bugging me. What do you think that one means? Right, stop bothering me. Okay, here's our example of personification. This little cupcake is saying, I'm yummy, eat me. Now, can a cupcake speak? No. Can a person speak? Yes. So what is the key word that makes this an example of personification? So I think it's me, because the cupcake is actually trying to speak, and that is something a person can do. That is not something a cupcake can do. And again, what word do you see hidden in personification? It's the word person. Hyperbole is this backpack weighs a ton. Although I feel like when we left for the break, your backpacks did weigh pretty close to a ton. We had a lot of stuff in there. We were anticipating that we may not be back in the classroom, so we were stocking you up with everything. So if you were to describe this backpack based on the use of the figurative language, what would you say was inside of it? Maybe a lot of heavy books, maybe your binder, maybe your lunchbox that could make it heavy. What else? Like if you took all your crayons and coloring supplies home, that would also make it a little bit heavier too. What would be another example of hyperbole that could be used to describe something that is really heavy? So if I wanted to describe something that was really heavy, instead of saying it weighs a ton, what could it be? Now, you can't say it weighs as much as an elephant. If you say that, it's no longer a hyperbole, it is a simile, because you use the words like or as. So when you're comparing things using like or as, be careful, or when you're trying to change different things. So if we were trying to make a hyperbole, the first thing you would say is, oh, I know an elephant is very heavy. So we could say the backpack was as heavy as an elephant. Well, that changes the meaning of it. And now it's not a hyperbole anymore. It would be a simile. Here's a few more comics. Dad, what causes wind? Trees sneezing. Really? No, but the truth is much more complicated. The trees are really sneezing today. So as the little boy learns, he really does think the trees are sneezing. But again, that's an example of personification. Now, can you sneeze? Yes. Are you a person? Yes. The trees aren't they are not people. And can a tree actually sneeze? No, but it can blow and kind of sneeze that way. Okay? I want you to pause the video and try to fill in the blanks with words that demonstrate personification. So pause it now, try and think of 3 in a row to do, and then come back when you are done. All right, so the first one says, the leaves blank in the wind. Mine is swirled, swirled. Okay, so that's something a person can do. The wind blank in my ear. This one I'm choosing as whispered. The wind whispered in my ear. And then the last one is the wind blank through the window crack. I'm going to say snuck, snuck through the window crack. Those are all things that people can probably do, but something that's not a person can't do. Oh, they said danced. I said whispered and whistled. Okay. Mind if we play through? The tortoise and the snail said, time to pick it up, guys. Okay, so we know usually a tortoise and a snail are very slow, and these guys are going to get passed by the tortoise and the snail. So play through in golf means that you let someone pass you on the golf course. What does the man actually mean by time to pick it up, guys? Do you think they should pick their ball up and go? What do you think pick it up means? Kind of means hurry up, let's get moving, okay? Now, in that one, it kind of means hurry up and get moving. Pick it up can also be used in another context. If your mom or dad or grandma tells you to pick up your room, what does she mean? Literally, pick up the things in your room. You can't lift up your room. I'm so hungry I could eat you. So instead of saying that, I'm so hungry I could eat a horse, he was saying you to his other friend, the horse. Okay, so those are all examples of different types of figurative language. What you're gonna do for the rest of this week is there's a couple different practice pages. There is a lesson on Study Island that you're going to do regarding figurative language. And then when you think you're ready, you can take the quiz on figurative language. It won't cover all of the samples of figurative language, but it will cover probably 3 or 4 of the ones we just went over today. So make sure that you take your time, you read the question carefully, and you look for those clue words. So if it's a simile, you're looking for the words like or as. And then one little picture I wanted to share with you this week. Come on. Is my nephew Gabriel. So again, you know that sometimes I watch Gabriel, and this one was super funny to me that they put a chair up at their back window, so he gets to scoot up there, stand outside, or stand on the chair and look outside, and then the dog Mia obviously has to stand up there and look outside. So my brother calls him Snoopy and Snoop Dog. So they like to look outside. My brother was actually leaving and going to work, so I was over there watching Gabriel for the day, and he likes to go outside and look. And then this is a little video of me teaching Gabriel some new flashcards. So I am not just the fun auntie babysitter, but when I babysit, we also do schoolwork. So listen carefully, and I think you'll be able to hear how well he's doing with some of his flashcards. Good job. So he knows a lot of the flashcards, but those were just 3 special ones that he did. And Bruce is barking, so I think it's time for me to sign off. Have a great week, everyone. Email me if you need questions, and I'll see you on Zoom on Friday.